Mm-hmm. No, well, when you get messages like that, you should listen to it. There's people that don't, and unfortunately, whatever happens, happens. But like I said, your spirits will never lead you wrong. Never will.
You gotta listen.
And I know you listen to that message too, right?
Woo-wee. Loud and clear. The few times I did not listen when that voice was telling me, "Don't do this, don't do that," and I had not listened, the
Right.
outcome was usually not good.
And you
Not
pay,
good.
and exactly, exactly.
And
Yeah.
it's like, you. I mean, and the good thing is that there's room for mistake because we're humans, so we are not. None of us are perfect, of course.
No, of
But
course.
there's this sense of like there's room for mistakes, but there are certain mistakes that you might not want to do because there's probably no way back from that particular experience that might affect you in a way that's just not on point.
Right, right. We're all human, and sometimes you're like, I want to do it anyway, and you do it. But then yet you see what the outcome is. Yeah.
You've been told.
I've made tons and tons of mistakes. And even up to today, I still make mistakes. But you know what? I listen a little bit more and I start taking things a little bit more serious, and things are where they're at. I can't complain because I think that what I've accomplished was phenomenal, and it's all because I listened. You know, it's all because I listened.
It's amazing because I'm actually
Yeah.
even gonna add to what you said. Same thing, like as I told you about this voice. You know, the other day there was some because I'm into this cryptocurrencies, the NFTs, all these new technologies. I'm really, really, really tapping deep into that as carving new opportunities of creating stream of incomes and just long term investments and stuff. And so there was this one particular uh, opportunity where that particular crypto was about to get this pump, as they say, right? So it was about to pumped up, and I invested right at that time just a little something, and
Mm-hmm.
I doubled what I and but I actually paid. That voice just told me like just put it there.
Right.
Maybe it's my sixth sense, maybe it's just my logic. Call it what you want. Boom, and that allowed me to look after some other sorts of expenses. It's really amazing when you really start to resonate truly with yourself and with it's instantaneous. It's there's it's like a divine connection with something that's just much higher than you. That's just
Right.
guiding you.
Right. Well, but that's why they call them guides. Guía protectores in Spanish. Your protectors. Okay, they're there for a reason, and it's up to you to embrace them and listen to them and move forward. You know, and
Profound.
I always told you, even from day one,
Hmm.
listen to your messages because both of you are going to uh, go places and do things that you never imagined that you would ever do. And I know you're on track. I know you're on track because you're doing a lot of amazing things. Music is just one of the outlets, but there's other things that are in store for you, and it's just a matter of you reaching for them.
Amen to that.
I've always told you. I've always told you that. Yeah.
You did, and it's as you said that I recall these conversations that we had in Newark at your place, and
Yeah.
just many deep conversations that we've had. Just
Yeah.
resonating and resonating and reasoning, sorry, and allowing me to lay this message um, uh, be presented to me, in the form that it was at the time. And it's interesting as time goes by, you realize that the way things unfold when you really are. meant to be doing certain things, and you, as you said, listen, it all makes sense eventually. It may not make sense before it happens. It may not make
Right.
sense because you, but in other words, there's no structure to it. There's no straight line, right? It's just like it's just it goes everywhere. But then
Exactly.
eventually, boom,
You landed.
and it's like, how did it happen? And sometimes it's a bit crazy because you feel like I don't know if you've had that feeling, but for example, when you've accomplished that one specific action and you're excited about it before it happened, and when it comes through and you're like, am I really happy? And it actually was something you really wanted, you really was looking forward to, but it doesn't seem to be bringing you any happiness. What do you think is that? Is it a lack? Can you hear me?
You're kind of breaking up. Sorry.
Breaking up? That's all good.
A little bit.
Well, this is part of the live. This is can you hear me? 1 2 1 2. Check check check. Is it better now? Is it better? No.
Still cutting in and out. Still cutting in and out.
Family, forgive us. This is the.
There you go.
It happens. Here we go. Good. All right.
There you go. Gotcha.
Where did you lose me?
That whole section you was talking about.
Oh God, I was inspired. Basically, I was saying, isn't it interesting when sometimes you want something so much, you want to achieve something, and then you achieve it, and you don't collect the actual joy and satisfaction you thought you were going to have. What is that according to your experience? Is it, yeah, what is that?
That's because it's like your brain is telling you one thing, but then yet your spirits are telling you another. You know? And it's up to you to choose. You know? Sometimes we want something so bad that we do it, that we neglect the fact that, you know, you're giving messages or you're giving signs, you know, in a different way. That's the best that I can explain it. Because, like I said, Botti, I have made tons and tons and tons of mistakes. That's what life is all about. Life is all about, living and learning. Because you had a bad experience doesn't necessarily mean that it's totally bad. What it was a learning experience.
100%.
Okay, and you'd learn from that experience. I have, and I'm sure you have just as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And as you said, we learn all the time.
Absolutely.
But the important is to actually learn and not say that you learn when you know that deep inside you've not learned a damn thing about what you just experienced, which I think is more often than not what people try to do. They want to sound like they're reasoning, but they actually are still trapped into this frequency or realm of thought process of not willing to detach themselves from matter, I guess, and try to deal a bit more with ethereal, with spirit. That harmony is really hard to keep at times.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Well, like I said, always listen. Always got to listen.
See, these are the wise words. You didn't have to say more. You just said, just listen. You know, you know, if it was someone else, they would have elaborated. No, he just said, just listen. This is actually. And sorry, go ahead.
That's your key. Okay, your key is listen.
Very, very deep. We don't listen enough, and that's true.
Nope.
Especially in those times of global pandemic, people are trapped in their home and they cannot really leave. And I have a friend of mine. I mean, she's been a friend for years, like 10 plus years. Love her like my sister. And she is trapped in these negative things where it's never negative thoughts, always thinking about what she's lacking. instead of focusing on what she's having abundantly, which is a solid health,
Right.
which is a roof
Right.
on top of her head, which is food, which is a healthy family. I mean,
Right.
just the basics. And I know for this consumerist world, it's not much. But the truth is that, as you said, listen. Y'all don't want to listen because y'all being disturbed by the noise around.
Right. Right.
Understandably so, we need distraction. But yo, man, there will be more sanity if people were actually able to listen and truly. And beyond listening, do you think there's a part of forgiving as well? Because I think a lot of people blame themselves for mistakes or for things that may have painted their life or made them look at their life in a way that feels as if they have failed. Is there such a thing as a failure according to you?
Uh, like I said, I don't. Well, it's that's kind of deep. Uh, Failure, like I
Going
said,
deep?
failure. Uh, I would say I always go back to a learning experience. Okay, let's say, for example, you put your hand in the snake pit. You're gonna get bit. Okay, after a while, you keep putting your hand in that snake pit. You're gonna keep getting bit. After a while, you're gonna be like, "Let me not do that." There's nothing wrong with failure because you always attempt to do things. If you don't attempt, you don't know what's for you and what's not for you. Okay. Uh, I'm trying to look for an example. Uh, let's just say, for example, if someone just goes every day and they're like, not focusing on doing things or bettering themselves or bettering things, uh, you never know what's for you unless you go out there and try it. Okay.
Hmm.
Say, for example, God, I'm trying to pick the right example, but not, a step in the mud. You know what I'm saying?
Whatever, man. As you said, there's no such thing as failure, so let's
Nah,
fail gloriously.
there's no such thing as failure. I just find I for myself I find everything as a learning experience. That's just the way I look at things. Okay, I've done things that I thought I would never ever do in my life, and I never knew it was for me until I executed it. Okay, prime example: moving to Puerto Rico. I never fathomed the idea of moving to Puerto Rico. Okay, but an opportunity came up, and I basically looked at everything around me, and I sort of analyzed everything that was, financial, my living quarters, everything. And an opportunity came up, and I jumped at it. If I didn't jump at it, where would I have been? Back in my same old situation or rut, I guess you would say. You know, Same situation. It's like you always got to go out there and you got to reach for things. If you don't reach for things, you never know what's for you and what's not for you. So if you fail at something, I think it's a good thing. Okay,
You learn.
but you just move on to yeah, the next
I
straw.
agree.
Let's say you're grasping at straws. Put that one down, grab for another one, and try something different. You know,
There's a
like
luxury in failing, I guess.
yeah. Well, same thing with music. I started off, in the music industry as a dancer. And all of a sudden my interest was piqued by music, playing music, producing music. I never thought that I'd be able to produce music, but you know what? I jumped in there and I started playing around and things happened. So like I said, you never know what's for you unless you go for it.
That that requires courage.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Like they say, cojones.
Cojones, balls.
Exactly, exactly.
What about love?
That is, hmm, listen, listen, observe. Everything has to go through here and it has to register here. You know, has to
Why?
register. Huh?
Why?
Why? Because not everything is the same. Not all situations are the same. Not all people are the same. You know, you basically have to look for uh, what stimulates you or what piques your interest or what makes you happy. Sometimes something can make you happy, but it's not good for you. And that's where the good old word listen comes in.
What about uh, is it that it's not, well, in some cases, yes, it is not good for you. What about timing? Isn't it
Timing?
also, isn't it all about also timing? Well, besides the things that are not good for you, sometimes isn't it a question of could be perfect, but the timing is not right.
Right, right. Well, I think that when you kick back and you let it happen and it comes to you, you know when it's right. Okay? Because let's say, for example, you know, a gorgeous, gorgeous woman, with, that's got it together and everything, and you like it, it piques your interest, and you want to be with that person, but then yet the chemistry and the timing of meeting that person is not right, maybe because of your present situation, whatever it may be, or that person's present situation. You know, timing has a lot to do with it.
I agree. So listening, going for it. What about guarding your spirit? How does one guard their spirit?
How does one guard their spirit?
Yeah.
How does one guard their spirit? Let's see. That's deep. Protect it. Watch yourself, your surroundings. You know, that's for me. What I do is I basically kick back and I just stay away from certain things that I know that aren't good for me, and things that are good for me. I basically, you know, sort of lean towards that, or I accept it. But if you see that something's not right for you, back off. Yeah, back off, really. You know. Like I said, timing has a lot to do as far as relationships, friendships, love, all the same.
Very true. How do you what's your outlook on death?
On who?
Death.
Oh, we're all gonna go there. you
But
know.
what's your understanding of it? Or yeah,
I
I
think
don't
it, I
see
think
another way to put it.
I think it's a higher plane. A lot of people are afraid of it. I think it's basically the next level of your spirit to move into. Uh, I remember there was a time that I was, petrified. Oh my God, I'm going to die or something's going to happen. And, you're always thinking about that, but I guess as you get older, you accept it a little bit more. And I think it's just a higher plane to where, our spirits and our soul, go to. And like I said, you got some people that are petrified of it, and it's all life. You have to accept it. You really do. You know? Especially as you get older, you think about it more.
Do you think about it as an ending, or do you think about it as just another
A new beginning.
realm, a new beginning?
A new beginning. Yeah.